Hello! My name is Callista, and welcome back to When the Night Comes. In the last episode, we were introduced to Finn and Ezra, and we actually spent the evening at Ezra's magic shop. But now, the dawn has broken, and it's time to pack up and head out. After I wake, and Ezra eagerly makes me more tea, I join him in the shop as I prepare to leave. I wait patiently while he deals with what sounds like a particularly difficult customer, doing my best to eavesdrop as I survey the books that line the walls. Most of them are in languages I don't understand. There's a strange energy in the air, and my senses tell me that Ezra's visitor is also of magical origin.
You really can't just drop by like this and expect me to have what you need right away. These things take time.
That's always your excuse, Ezra. Do you not want me to work hard to save this town?
Ezra sighs, apparently not willing to argue, or maybe he knows he'll lose. The tall figure he's bickering with turns to look at me, and I'm caught off guard by their piercing eyes, their stare cutting me to my core. They scowl, their lips pursed as they turn on a towering heel like I have a target on my forehead. Ezra looks like he's about to try and say something to stop them, but they wave dismissively over their shoulder. And hello to you too. They're all so attractive. How am I gonna pick? They come to a stop before me and steal their gaze, staring me down and studying me from head to toe in a slow, pointed drag. I register the familiar violet sash that adorns their torso, the very same as mine, and I exchange a quick glance with Ezra. He looks apologetic as he hurriedly emerges from behind the counter to join us. An enforcer then. One who apparently doesn't feel that it's necessary to wear the standard uniform. Or maybe they simply think they're too important. They have a commanding presence about them, and I can't help but wonder what rank they hold.
So you're my new subordinate? Interesting.
Gus? August. So this is the infamous Major General Wilhelmheim that I've been assigned to. They're a prolific figure countrywide, and they're known for being responsible for one of the best hunters that Eskria has to offer. It will be a true honor to serve under them. What kind of, how do you mean that could be? Oh god, the flirting has started. Okay. Let's go for that again and not be lewd. It will be a true honor to serve under them, despite their apparently icy disposition. Historically, enforcers aren't the friendliest bunch. They live to serve just as we do, but they hold a much higher authority and love to remind us about it. The way Ezra said their name carried a warning, and August scowls at him briefly before turning their attention back to me. I notice how tired they look, their eyes heavy-lidded and their skin pale, and they even almost sway where they stand. Apparently Ezra notices too, a flash of concern crossing his features as he quickly rushes to gather some ingredients from a locked cabinet. It looks like he's done this before, seen them like this before. It's a pleasure to meet you, Enforcer Wilhelmheim.
Yes, I know exactly who you are. Your arrival has caused quite a stir, and more than a little paperwork.
I love how pissed off he sounds. They glance over at Ezra, watching as he breaks off a few sprigs from a neatly wrapped bundle of herbs and pops them into a glass vial. Their foot taps impatiently on the floor, an exasperated scoff falling from their lips as they turn to look at me once again, eyes rolling. So tell me, Hunter Abeline, are you ready to partake in one of the most baffling missions I've come across? Oh, we'll see. Yes, General. No, this is our superior. It is now time to be business. Yes, General, we are confident in our capabilities. Of course, General. I'm looking forward to working with you. They quirk a perfectly sculpted brow, their lips pursed in contemplation.
I don't suffer fools, and I certainly don't tolerate tardiness. If you're capable, we'll get along just fine.
Part of me's like, this guy's taking a tone, but I'm also like, his voice sounds sexy, so I'm conflicted. Their unrelenting gaze burns into my own, and I swallow thickly, offering them as genuine a smile as I can muster under such scrutiny. I think everything will work out. This won't be as effective, but it'll do the job for now. As August eagerly reaches for the vial clutched in Ezra's palm, the witch pulls away and fixes them with a worried gaze.
Please stop doing this to yourself. They're pushing you too far and you know it. You're better than this.
Now we both know that's not true. Ezra surrenders the vial, the viscous violet liquid glowing dully as August takes it with a trembling hand. Ezra squeezes August's fingers before pulling away. He looks impossibly sad. I don't know what this is, but I'm assuming it's witch drugs. There's always a choice. Remember that. August seems lost for words, but manages to maintain their carefully crafted annoyance. They reach for the door with yet another roll of their eyes, pausing briefly to catch my gaze.
I'll see you tomorrow. Don't be late.
We stand outside the shop, the sky bright, but the town somehow still feeling inherently gloomy.
If you ever need anything, you know where to find me. Please don't hesitate to stop by.
You won't get rid of me if you say that. Oh, I wouldn't mind. His smile softens, and I feel incredibly grateful that I stumbled across him. I mean it though. Anytime. And be careful. Thank you, Ezra. I bid him farewell, reluctantly leaving the warmth and safety of the shop behind to follow the rickety old street signs that point me towards the tavern, the place I'll be calling home for the foreseeable future. The tavern is bustling and full to the brim with red-faced patrons, the tables littered with empty tankards. It's only 9:30 in the morning, but clearly this town likes to drown their sorrows, even if the sun has barely risen. I push my way to the bar, and a scowling barmaid rolls her eyes at me as I politely raise my hand to get her attention. What? I have a room here? Could I check in, please? She promptly rolls her eyes again and ducks beneath the bar, reappearing within a few seconds looking even more pissed off. Room ain't ready until 2. You'll have to get a drink or make yourself scarce. I don't know why I've given this lady such a deep accent, but fuck it, I am sticking with it. I muster a polite, albeit forced smile, turning to find a table, but I find myself face to face with a striking, scowling woman who appears to be blocking me entirely on purpose.
So this is the famous hunter that's taking my place then? You don't look like anything special to me. Come to gloat, have you? Rub it in my face.
Nice to meet you. Do I know you? I went with nice to meet you, previously. My thinking is that, like, as this lady said, you know, oh, you've taken my place. And I think Camille, I think she has a lot of camaraderie for her fellow hunters. There definitely seems to be this divide between, like, there are the enforcers and then there's us, the hunters, the people on the actual main lines, like, doing shit, whilst the enforcers, like, they have the safe, cushy job, you know, behind a desk, yet they have more power than us for some reason. So I don't think that Camille... I don't think she'd be rude to her just based off of that alone. But also, this lady has been on this case, presumably since the beginning. If, you know, this is her town, this is where she lives, she would have been on this from the start. And she's just been thrown off and some randomer has been brought in. Like, she has every right to be kind of pissed off. So I think Camille, she's going to try and make it a point to try and befriend this lady. It's nice to meet you. I'm Camille. She looks taken aback, clearly not expecting me to be polite, and she quickly straightens up, her features softening. Kind of. I know exactly who you are. I know she's got a Cockney accent. I can't do Cockney. I can only do Northern accents.
I'm Piper. Piper Merriman.
I'm the former general. I was leading this investigation until you came along. I had no idea. I just go where I'm ordered. You of all people must know we don't have much of a choice. Her gaze drops to her hands as she picks at a non-existent Let me try that again. Her gaze drops to her hands and she picks at a non-existent piece of lint on her trousers. Yeah, well, I do know that, I suppose. So, I've really been called here to take Piper Merriman's place. She's a legend, having racked up more kills than some of the most seasoned hunters, and all at the tender age of 24. I feel terrible. I wasn't told I'd be replacing anyone, and her being upset suddenly seems pretty justified. I'd be devastated if I was demoted too. We work so hard and put our lives on the line, all while... That is good grammar, I'm sorry. So many tongue fumbles in such a short amount of time. I'd be devastated if I was demoted too. We work so hard and put our lives on the line, all while the majority of the enforcers sit safely behind their desks, holding our fate in hands that aren't stained with blood, while our fingers drip with it. I think she is so pretty. She is such a pretty lady. Piper makes a vague gesture at the barmaid, and she's swiftly handed a glass of warm, amber liquid that she delicately cradles in her palm. She steps closer with narrowed eyes, surveying me in a way that almost reminds me of August. Pretty sure I won't be getting Employee of the Month anytime soon. We could always work together. I'm getting the feeling I'll need the help. And I'm sorry, truly. I can't imagine how frustrating this must be for you. She continues to look annoyed, but I can tell a more vulnerable emotion lingers beneath this seemingly rock-hard exterior. She swirls the rum around, watching the gentle slosh of it as it coats the sides of the glass.
Yes, well, that's what I get for being utterly shit at my job, isn't it?
She scoffs a laugh, but the smile that curls at her ruby lips doesn't reach her eyes. Anyway, I'm sure I'll see you in the field. I'm not totally useless, apparently.
They just have me doing the awful jobs, the stuff that doesn't actually matter. What a waste of a perfectly amazing hunter.
Enforcers. Just a bunch of pencil-pushing wankers. I stay silent, sensing that she might need someone to vent to. I've been there. Our job can be hard, and not just on our bodies.
Anyway, I can see I'm boring you. I'll just be over there, continuing to drown my sorrows until Willenheim summons me.
Oh, love, you're not boring. I'd listen to you complain. They're such an arsehole. I huff a laugh, covering my mouth with my hand in a poor attempt to stifle the noise, and she seems briefly amused by my reaction. She offers me a thoughtful glance, then sighs loudly.
Don't take any shit from them, okay? Come and see me if they bother you. I'm not afraid to stick my boot up their backside. Again.
Anyway, I'll see you around. She doesn't wait for me to respond, and with a flick of long chestnut hair, she's gone. I spot her disappearing into the heavy crowd that's mulling about in the centre of the tavern. A crowd that's apparently pretty pissed off about something. I decide to investigate. Might as well get stuck right in. What could possibly go wrong? I push my way into the crowd, and what I find both baffles and amuses me. A lichen, a hybrid lichen, sat smack bang in the middle of the tavern, arms folded across his chest. He has a smirk plastered across his scarred lips, his wolf ears twitching dismissively as the townsfolk hoot and holler at him. The lichen doesn't seem to care and grabs his drink, taking a deep swig. My first impression is that he seems perfectly harmless, even if his cockiness is almost a palpable aura. As I take a step closer, however, I can see the scars he bears. A seasoned scrapper then, not shy in the least and eager to stir up the ire of the authorities, or other creatures apparently. He spots me then, his scarlet eyes flashing, and then he's kicking out the chair in front of him and gesturing for me to sit down. Either he's very bold or he's got something to prove, and I find myself being watched by the eyes of every tavern goer. They're all waiting to see if I'm going to oblige the object of their disdain, and the tavern falls deathly silent. As I take a seat, the crowd slowly begins to disperse. Though their eyes stay firmly fixed upon both myself and the lichen as they return to their respective seats.
They're lucky I kept my cool. Wouldn't you say, Hunter?
I wouldn't want to piss you off. You seem harmless. I went with this one last time. I wouldn't want to piss you off. It kind of seems like we're trying to placate him. And I don't know why we do that. To me, at least how I read that is like oh, I wouldn't want to piss you off. And I'm like, this is a guy in a bar. Why are we so afraid? And you seem harmless. It's not exactly like oh, you seem like a weakling. I see it as like a gentle, like, I could take you. I'm not gonna fight you, but like, if we do get into it, I think I could take you. That's how I view it. You seem harmless enough. I think I could handle you. His brows draw together into a deep scowl, but he still looks relatively relaxed, playful even.
You do you? Would you care to test that theory?
Oh, not today, lichen, not today. One of his wolf ears twitches, and I can't help but smile at the loose threat. Maybe another time. How about you tell me your name and why you apparently have a death wish hanging around in a tavern full of humans who quite clearly aren't too fond of non-humans? He bristles, his tail wrapping around the leg of his chair as he places his now empty tankard upon the table. The noise draws a gasp from nearly every single patron, and I glance over at Piper, who sits in the corner, either oblivious or uncaring.
It's Alcar, and I don't have a death wish. Not today, anyway.
Again, they're all so pretty, goddamn. Only today? He smiles, folding his arms back across his chest.
You don't need to concern yourself with me, Hunter. I stay far away from your kind. From everyone. Mostly. I do enjoy coming here to rile this lot up, though. Unless they come looking for me, of course.
He glances over his shoulder, catching Piper's gaze. She flips him off, and he turns back around to face me, his shoulders shaking with his laughter.
I'm sure you'll grow to despise me in time, just like every other idiot in this hopeless town.
He stands, and all the patrons stiffen. It's so quiet you could hear a pin drop, but Alcar merely rolls his pretty eyes and flashes me a sharp grin. He looms over me, close enough that I can smell the earthy, distinctly petrichor scent of him.
If my advice is worth anything to you, then trust me when I say to trust no one.
He stares me down. Even you?
Especially me.
At least he's not saying, don't trust anyone, but you can totally trust me. I'm your man. I'm like, fair dues.
Goodbye, Hunter.
Goodbye to you too. I watch him leave, feeling everyone's gaze still fixed upon me. I compose myself and offer them a smile, as genuine as I can muster after such an odd encounter. I glance at the clock and it's only 10:30. Ugh. I have some time to kill. The town is small, very small, and it takes me less than an hour to walk it from end to end. On my travels, I find myself drawn to the cemetery, and the scent of blood is thick here. That would be because this is the site of the last murder. I come across a patch of scorched grass. The earth around it is trampled by the boots of enforcers and hunters alike. The remnants of a crumbled gravestone are littered around the perfect black outline of a body, and I take a deep breath, crouching down to skim my fingers along the edges. I close my eyes and try to picture it, what happened to them, but it's hard to truly see knowing how stark the darkness is here. It's a blur, a mere memory, but I feel terror. They were so scared, utterly alone in their final moments. But something sticks out to me over all of that fear. I'm sorry. I love you. The words hit me hard, my chest aching, and I feel an intense longing. I feel love. The powerful and unconditional kind that snatches the air from your lungs. I take a deep breath and force myself to stand, trying to shake the feeling. I'll find out who killed you. I'm startled by the sudden sound of heavy footsteps, my hand hovering over my weapon. I look around frantically, on guard and ready, and then a striking figure appears. And here he is, the last of our romance choices. Hello. He's clad in fine clothing. Let's... Off to a great start describing the guy, Callista. Good job. He's clad in fine clothing, his long hair tied in a neat ponytail, the crown of his head adorned with delicate jewellery, and I should be unsettled. The pointed teeth and sharp claws indicating he's definitely not human, but he's smiling? Then the flicker of a spade-tipped tail tells me all I need to know. I'm staring at a glamoured demon, though I'm finding it hard to be alarmed by his presence, which seems to be a theme here in Lunaris. His eyes are a warm chestnut brown, and they sparkle in the dappled sunlight as he gazes at me in wonder.
Hello, Hunter. I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Yeah, let's be friendly. We're not getting bad vibes off him. We shouldn't put bad vibes out. You've been expecting me? I watch as his cheeks darken, his gaze dropping to the grass.
Well, people talk and I listen, and they've done a lot of talking about you. I hope I didn't scare you.
Well, he's certainly not like any other demon I've encountered. The not trying to kill me part helps. You didn't. It's okay.
You're sure? I've gotten used to startling people.
I promise you that I've seen scarier. He laughs, his tail flicking. Oh, I'm certain you have. His aura is calm, if not a little skittish, and I decide he's probably more scared of me than I am of him. He's still hard to read though, and that's frustrating, but not necessarily alarming. What's your name? The demon exhales sharply, apparently relieved that I'm making conversation rather than drawing my weapon.
It's Omen.
You've got to be kidding me. We're gonna make the joke. We're off duty. We can have a laugh. I feel a smile curling at the corners of my lips. Are you a good omen or a bad one? His lashes flicker, and I quickly realise he may not be versed in bad jokes. What? Don't worry. It's nice to meet you, Omen. I'm Camille. So, how has your first day in Lunaris been? I huff a quiet laugh, yet again perplexed by the wonderfully weird inhabitants of this town. He's certainly the most polite demon I've ever met. I guess it's been fine. I'm just a little overwhelmed. It's a strange town, isn't it? Omen laughs, the sound musical and almost infectious, causing my own smile to widen.
You're being polite. It's more than strange. It's a mess. A mess I and many others hope you can fix.
I grimace, my gaze drifting back down to the place where the last murder victim lay. I sigh and muster as much confidence as I possibly can. I can do this. I can solve these murders. So, absolutely no pressure then. Omen shrugs playfully.
No pressure at all. Welcome to Lunaris.
And that is the end of Chapter 1. The Enforcers. In the wake of the existence of supernatural creatures being made known to the world, there was, of course, a time of great fear and superstition. Hoping to make sense of the chaos, laymen clung to religion, and religious institutes in return took advantage of their desperation to swell in power. Mass executions, witch hunts, and then as easy targets began to dwindle, theocracies rose across the continent to replace or trivialize previous governments. Escria came from such a history, though, unlike some of her neighbours, had made tremendous and sometimes brutal efforts to remove superstitious and religious influences from her governance. Escria's state is more militaristic, and the enforcement branch of the government was the practical solution to navigating this strange new world. The enforcement agency was once a mixture of hunters and their ordinary human partners, who worked closely together to defend humanity against the worst of monsters. These days, as the agency's existence was officiated and creature activity increased across the globe, enforcers tend to work desk jobs instead of remaining in the field. Though, in rare cases, mostly where an enforcer is either a fierce fighter in their own right or a witch, they will still maintain the traditional field role when possible. One sore spot for a number of enforcers is that they are often hunter rejects. For reasons still unknown, witches and a handful of humans are unable to pass the secretive initiation that all hunter recruits must partake in. These rejects are often given places within the enforcement agency as a consolidation prize, and some say that this is often a source of resentment and the cause of the increase in tensions between enforcers and their hunter counterparts. Enforcement field agents are posted all across the country to keep an eye on dangerous elements, and higher-ranking officers work closely with the Hunter Corporation to ensure sufficient numbers are recruited, trained, and correctly paired. In places like Iskria, the Enforcers represent the central government as a body of governance, effectively granting them the power to oversee both normal and supernatural security measures, collect information, and control its own budget. The position of Lieutenant General, as currently held by Harold Addington III, has the unique intersection between being a rank of the national government and not just within the enforcement branch, hence its prestigiousness. Enforcers' recruitment and training are much less rigorous than hunters, as pretty much anyone can be one if desired. It also has several divisions within its jurisdiction, and not all are dedicated to the defence or eradication of supernatural threats. As Iskria welcomed the aid of witches and long-living creatures like vampires at times, or at least coveted the knowledge and power they possess, it was able to make incredible advancements in both medicine and magic. Such research divisions are a part of the Enforcement Agency and are overseen by its leader. The most prominent role of the Enforcers is to maintain and restore order and to manage the numerous hunters inside its employ. What other political ventures it meddles in are kept out of laymen's mouths, lest superstition turn to fear, blame, and pitchforks. Demons. Sacred texts from the most ancient lands have long catalogued the existence of creatures from variations of a world adjacent or world below, often with accompanying depictions of fire. Prior to the revelation of creatures' existence, the old established religions of Iskria only acknowledged these hells as a metaphorical sort of after-death, eternal punishment, and its denizens as similes for sins and worldly indulgences. The truth, however, every hunter knows, and now the people know too, that these hellish realms are very real, the demons are real, and so is all the potential strife that comes with their existence. There's a saying, if you can claim demonic influence in any one event in history, you can claim demonic influence in all events in history. Aside from the common mischief makers like imps and occasionally more dangerous manifestations from the 9 hell realms, demons are a more subtle species. While there is robust variance among their kind, many with different cultures and predator habits, demons are observed to prefer manipulation or indirect assistance rather than spawning themselves directly into the above world. The reason for this is simply a matter of resource. Natural boundaries stand between these realms and the mortal world, making traversing them costly for either side. Ensnaring human prey by possession or overindulgence of their vices is a more economical approach to getting what you want, for most demons. What they want also varies. Records tell of those who feed from fear and terror, from the ugly satisfaction in a human tyrant's heart when he crushes his enemies under his heels. Others might actually be considered chivalric, an imp who finds her attention drawn to a bullied little girl, imparting on her advice and tools to get back at her tormentors. Either way, these wants fall under a common umbrella: chaos. Large scale or small scale, for noble whims or for ill, demons are drawn to discord, imbalances, and extremes. Sometimes spectators and sometimes masterminds of elaborate, multi-generational schemes, they are always there on the verge of shifting history, watching, feeding. Because of the boundaries, most demons larger than the size of a horse have trouble manifesting themselves fully in the mortal world without some ritual setup and aid. Which, of course, means that demons of that size and below, and sometimes merely fauna or flora from the hell realms that happen to drift over, cause, well, one hell of a problem for humanity. Hellhounds, creatures of smoke and very real fangs and claws, haunt the foggy mountain passes and wilderness when the sun goes down and the boundaries relax. Imps raid shops and alleyways, viciously tearing up stray animals for a taste of foreign food. Will-o-wisps lure the lost to their despair and death. Flowers bloom in an unsuspecting village's well, poisoning the inhabitants into a maddened state. Whole swarms of butterflies, mutated by some hellish disease, washing through the countryside and sucking livestock and people dry of souls or blood or both. These are problems hunters face, and face often. Furthermore, these are considered small problems, for though these lesser threats are large nuisances, means to repel them are plenty. Most demons of this caliber do not leave lasting damage on the realm. The boundaries eventually drain the land of the traces of their essence and banish it back to where it came from. The larger threats are those who have acquired human benefactors of whom they have grown fond. Be it a possessed heirloom, a lover, a friend. Once an emotional attachment is formed between a human entity and a demonic one, things complicate. Creatures of the Hell Realms do not seemingly maintain solid forms like things in the mortal realm do, which makes manifestations born of their emotions much more powerful, much more corporeal, and much more dangerous. And, of course, for humanity and demons alike, the most powerful binding and breaking agent is love. Threatening one or both of such a partnership is usually a dangerous task, and one many hunters rue. What humans know of demonic hierarchy is fairly limited. Gathered intelligence from cooperative individuals confirm its existence, or at least something similar, that there are demons who rank higher, are more powerful, and have a natural powerful sway over those of lower rank. Who these princes and lords are, however, are unknown. More accurately, they cannot be known. What is known is that there are plenty of them. One should keep in mind this is just what is known in Escria and its neighbouring countries. Across the sea, among different human cultures, knowledge of demons may vary and be ever richer in comparison. Fascinatingly, local demon habits, cultures and manifestations reflect their closest human populations, and this, more than anything, blends them in as part of the complex ecosystem of the world. The capitalization of their race's name is not a choice born of respect or to regard their kind as special in some ways either. Rather, it is a denotation of their status as foreigners of a country, much like one capitalizes Escrian. There used to be another word for the race itself, but that word is lost. Modern conventions simply default to this term instead. And there we go! That is all the codex entries done. In the next episode, we get started on chapter 2. But until then, please remember to like if you enjoyed, leave a comment below. And if you wanted to subscribe, it would be very much appreciated. I've been Callista. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.